Hello my friends and welcome. This is the latest update from Ukraine. As for the front lines, yes, we do have the recent update, but there's just minor clarification of the front lines. If we check out all of the main hotspots on the front lines, there are no any changes for today. That is why let's go for the main news. According to which, there are some kabooms in the Moscow city near to the central TV station Ostankino. It is one of the biggest and tallest stations in the world, the symbol of Moscow and the Soviet propaganda, now the Russian one. It happened around 1 hour ago. Locals heard the explosions that are coming from the local factory, which is located few hundred meters away from this TV station. This is the different angle showing that definitely someone is smoking out there. After every of the drone attack, even with the ground explosions, Russia reports that they shut down everything. Well, that might be true because they may deviate the trajectory of the drones by using the electronic warfare weaponry, specially designed to interfere into the signal which leads the drone to its target. Yet, no casualties reported from locals, and usually if Ukraine carries out attacks, if Russia do not interfere into the drone trajectory, civilians in Russia do not suffer. A very interesting aviation day for the Russian Federation. Let's start from this one. The military airplane, the tactical bomber Sukhoi Su-24, was lost over the territory of the Russian Federation. It was confirmed that both of the pilots lost their lives because of the maybe aviation accident, or it could have been the Ukrainian air defense missile because the airplane disappeared not far away from the Ukrainian border. Sukhoi airplane is the unique airplane which plays the great role especially for Ukrainian army. We also have those birds which carry the Storm Shadow cruise missiles and also Scalp cruise missiles. Basically, it is the same rocket. By the way, today was the announcement from the German defense minister that they are not planning to transfer the Taurus cruise missiles to Ukraine. But you know, they say the same for the Leopard 2 tanks, and now we have them. Oh, sorry, definitely we have the update from the military map. Russians are coming out from Klishchivka. Ukrainians are entering the positions in the gray zone. We have even the video confirmation that our guys went to that position and they find the Wagner flag that is still over there. Wagner's took Klishchivka, I think, the last winter, and now it's time for our guys to liberate it. Alright, my friends, it seems like finally Biden will agree to transfer the ATACMS missiles. At least we got this information from some of the mainstream media. According to their original resources, they give the high chance for it to happen. So Biden, what are you waiting for? I'm sure that he will sign the deal for ATACMS because everyone understands that Ukraine needs those long-range missiles. That is how we're gonna deal with the Russian supply lines. It will be in combination with the new military aid delivered to Ukraine, for example, the Abrams tanks. And the Abrams tanks, together with Leopard 2 and Leopard 1 and Challenger 2 tanks, will break through the Russian main defense lines. Our guys are already doing it, but with more help, it will just destroy the Russian resistance. Plus, we're still waiting for the F-16 airplanes. The next year, when we're gonna receive those airplanes, it's gonna be really hot for Russia. By the way, more about ATACMS. It looks like United States will also deliver the cluster warheads for this particular type of missile. Alright, it's 100% my topic from commercial aviation. Ural Airlines lands their airplane in the field again. As you see, they still fly the Western-made airplanes like Airbus 320. After the landing, the emergency evacuation was announced, and as you can see, all of the rafts are inflated. That allows people just to jump and slide from this airplane. And as you can see, fire brigade is on the place, but no fire extinguishing is needed. Those are the passengers. By the way, all of them survived. The initial report says that it was the hydraulic failure, so pilots decided to land the aircraft in the field. Quite a big field, by the way. Both engines were running. It's strange that they attempted this landing maneuver not on the paved runway, in some sort of the airfield. This very similar looking airplane from the same airline, by the way, Ural Airlines, also landed in the Korb field long time ago in 2019. It is the well-known story, and some even call the Russian pilots the Russian Sally, which is complete wrong. Yes, this airplane hit the birds on the takeoff and lost one engine. The other engine was still working fine. But because the Russian pilot was flying with a side sleep with a single engine, he starts to lose the altitude. Also, this airplane is bigger than A320. It is A321, which is heavier compared to the standard Airbus. Mostly it is used for the charter flights, and by that time it was fully loaded. After takeoff, those pilots also forgot to retract the landing gear, and landing gear creates lots of the drag. Even the fully loaded airplane like that is perfectly flyable with a single engine. But because of the wrong piloting technique of the Russian pilot, they start to lose altitude and ended up in this cornfield. Pilot just pulled up the stick and fly-by-wire, the smart fly-by-wire system of the Airbus airplane didn't allow the pilot to crash this plane. The airplane was coming down to the ground, but with a restricted flight envelope, not allowing the large movements of the control surfaces, which pilots eagerly wanted to achieve. By the way, the result of this investigation is available in the Russian aviation authorities, and it confirms my words. But you know what? The next day after it happened, pilots were declared as heroes by whom? By Vladimir Putin. So if the Russian president declares someone as the hero the next day after the accident happened, even if it was the pilot mistake, those pilots will stay heroes. The miracle on Hudson is totally a different thing. There were the professional actions by the crew members, especially by the airplane commander. Here was just a pure luck, so we should call it a miracle, and for the Hudson case, it's not really a miracle. It is the proper action performed by professional pilots and other crew members. So about this new case with Ural Airlines, let's go to the Aviation Herald website. They present all of the information about all of the incidents and accidents that are happening in aviation world. So this is the airplane Airbus A320. The registration you may see over here was performed the flight from Sochi to Omsk with 159 passengers on board plus 6 crew members, so totally 165 souls on board. The airplane was on final approach in Omsk runway 07. Here we have the length of the runway, quite okay, 2,500 meters. Then the crew initiated the go-around from around 600 meters due to a hydraulic failure. The aircraft climbed to flight level 180 and diverted to Novosibirsk. However, later on the aircraft had to perform the forced landing on the open field near to Kamenka village. So here we have the location of it. No injuries, the aircraft received the damage to the landing gear and the wings, and probably engines as well from what I saw. So I predict that in a nearby future Putin will announce those Russian pilots as heroes again. And it's funny because it's basically the same airline, the first off-road airline. I used to fly the Boeing 737, but I also like Airbus. Actually, I think that those airplanes are more modern compared to the Boeing 737, which was developed much earlier compared to Airbus 320. So the good thing for Boeing 737 and even for the Boeing 737 MAX, that in case of the total loss of hydraulic system, you can still manipulate all of the main airfoils that you are able to control during the normal flight. Just the forces will be several times higher than usual. That's why you need to go through the special training to fly in that mode. It's called manual reversion. On Airbus, without hydraulic, you cannot fly that airplane correctly. Basically, there are just hydraulic boosters installed near to the airfoils that manipulate and deflect those, and they connect by wires with computers that receive the signals from pilot's input and also calculates number of things to deflect the airfoil precisely as needed for a particular case. This is the more modern system, but it requires the proper maintenance. Russia is in a deep problem with that because of the sanctions. Still, some of the Russian airlines get the spare parts. I personally know about it, but it is much harder to find, and Airbus already said that those airplanes should not be airworthy. Airbus is out of the information of how those airplanes were maintained, because all of the maintenance was cancelled for the Russian airlines. So one more miracle for the Russian passengers and the crew members. Probably pilots performed well. The Rheinmetall concern sends the mobile hospital to Ukraine. Many of the tracks, many of the rooms available for our medics, our doctors to perform their duty near to the front lines. This is the awesome tool that will save many of the lives of the Ukrainian soldiers. The equipment is great. There is even the MRI system installed in that hospital. Wow, that's awesome. It seems like Russia is preparing to defend their airfield in Berdyansk. At least they start to dig the ground there and create the special defense humps for their helicopters. Well, we'll see how it goes. Today, Putin said that Russia is unable to stop the war in Ukraine because Ukraine is now on a counteroffensive, so Russians have to defend their lands. The Ukrainian Antonov Design Bureau is going to concentrate on producing the drones for the Ukrainian army. Not the small drones, but the big ones. There are several projects now from that factory, and soon they're gonna fly and take part in this war. Also, he said that during this counteroffensive operation, Ukraine has lost 543 tanks. Putin's friend Kim Jong-un visits Russia. They're going to discuss the new military deal between Russia and North Korea. Russia wants more artillery shells and the rockets for their artillery systems. As exchange, they will provide the military technologies to the North Korea, plus some of the food supplies. The United States of America already announced that they will put new sanctions on the North Korea in case of their successful deal with Russia. My friends, I just hope to receive the new updates from the Deep State military map for tomorrow or from the other resources. Now don't forget to press the like to this video, and also if you want to support my job, there will be some of the links available just in the video description below. Special thanks for my Patreon supporters and the sponsors of my YouTube channel. Guys, you are awesome. Thank you so much for your kind support. I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.